and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, streaming live at newhavenindependent.org.
Woo! Good morning. Welcome to the second hour of LoveBabz, LoveTalk. I'm Babz Rawls-Ivy. That's Steve Roberts, because Steve Roberts and Raven Blake are hosting an event. You know what they're doing? They're bringing Elm City local arts, meeting up with cultural culinary, watermelon, chicken, and grits. Woo! I'm so glad to hear about this. And it's August 8th from 6 to 9.
It's the 18th.
I'm sorry, August 18th. I'm sorry. I'm looking at it.
From 6 to 9 p.m. Raven and I, well, first of all, Raven and I got to know each other because we went to Helen Grant together. Yeah, and I remember specifically.
What is that, like fourth grade, third grade?
Yeah, and I remember she was the Sorting Hat. We did a production of Harry Potter. We did something with the Harry Potter, and yeah, she was.
I love that.
Like, she kind of put a hip hop spin on the Sorting Hat song. If anybody knows it, all I remember is, I may not be pretty, but don't judge on what you see, because something's up. Like, that's really all I remember. But I remember she was a Sorting Hat, and I remember she was just really artistically gifted. Oh, speaking of.
She's coming on. She's logging in.
And, I guess, like, I want to kind of pay homage to Miss Jeffrey Frazier, who recently passed. Because
we all feel that loss.
Really inspirational. And she really kind of, it was something I didn't notice until I got older, but she was really just like, intentional about raising the level of Black consciousness and within the kids in her school. Like, the first thing we did every day was sing the Black national anthem. Like, I knew the words to lift every voice and to sing before I knew Star Spangled Banner. See,
that's a good teacher. That's a good teacher rooted from an HBCU background.
yeah, and she was an AKA, and so I started to do the dots started to connect.
Yes, yes.
So fast forward some 20 some odd years later, Raven has worked as a sommelier. I'm starting my career as a chef. I started.
Oh, are you? Where are you at school? Are you at a Concat or culinary arts school?
Oh, no. This is just like this is more backstory.
Okay.
I consider myself a mercenary now. So, if people need cooking, I'm there to do it. Long as the money's good, I'm there. Raven sent the clapping emoji. But yeah, this is, I'll say about 2015 or 16, me and Raven reconnected, just like linking up. We happened to both be downtown one night. We caught up. I found out she was becoming a sommelier. I was cooking. Like, yo, like, let's do something. But the way, like, the restaurant industry is, it's tough, you don't have your weekends. Anyone want to do something like that on the weekend. So it kind of stayed on the back burner. But like, every time we ran into each other, it was just be like, yo, let's do something. And now, during these COVIDian times, the restaurant industry was one of the ones who were first hit. I was working at Roya when New Haven finally shut down. And I was able to kind of take that time off and just like read up on what was the general trends in the industry, and also reflect on what I wanted to do with cooking. At that point, I'd been cooking for about 7 years.
So
I'm like, okay, like, let's see where it takes us now. Do I want to kind of keep cooking and look for a job that's more corporate based, where I'd have a little bit more stability, but kind of give up
your weekends free.
Yeah, exactly. Or do I want to kind of do something a bit more creative, but not have the structure of a steady job behind me? I kind of decided to take a step out on faith, save some money. I've been able to do a lot more pop-ups and, private dinners within the last, I'll say 6 months.
Okay.
And this is just an extension of that. I've been wanting to do something at home where I can kind of showcase my ideas about Black food, and just creating a dope culture experience. And I'm honestly looking forward to showing people what we have to offer. And I'll turn it over to Raven because I know she has a lot more to add to this.
That was pretty damn good right there. So
Thank
watermelon chicken and grits, August 18th from 6 to 9. So hey Raven, how are you?
I'm good. How are y'all?
We good, girl. So tell
I
me about
love
this.
the purple. Oh my gosh. You see, I got the dark green going on.
I like it. But I can't rock no green just really as a Delta in a city full of Deltas, and they wear green hair. But I will wear pink hair. How about that? So this is a mashup of Elm City local arts meets culture culinary, which I love that tagline. So tell me about watermelon, chicken, and grits. 3 very blackety black things in our food culture.
Yeah. So I don't think, Steve, you didn't talk about the concept yet, right? Just how that came about.
I didn't. I just gave him the backstory. I don't want to do all the talk.
Okay, word. So we were just like Steve had mentioned before, we were hanging out as we do, or whenever, hanging out actually at Anchor a few weeks ago, in July, and really I was actually, and Babz, you went to this a couple years ago, so I was thinking again about doing another rosé soiree. Had been talking about it for a while, and so was really sharing with Steve that I wanted to do another rosé soiree like I did in 2018. And at that time, when I did it in 2018, I was still in my culinary program at the Natural Gourmet Institute, which is now the Natural Gourmet Institute Center at the Institute of Culinary Education. And so I was in that program as a plant-based, holistic kind of culinary program, one of its kind of one of the few in the country, and one of the first. And so I was trying out cooking food for that, and also pairing wines with that, the food that I made. And that was actually in Michelle Turner's backyard.
Yeah, I was there. It was good.
Yep, it was cool. And then everybody,
you know what? It turned me on to rosés because I never thought I'd be a fan of rosés, but now summer water is all I drink now. So
summer water, hey, and you listen. I drink rosés in the wintertime too. I'm like, if you drink white wines in the wintertime, why not rosé?
Yes.
So that was really fun. I think I had a dress code for then too, because everybody kind of had nice bright colors and floral.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about bringing it back and telling Steve, we were hanging out at Anchor, and Steve was like, I can cook for it. And I was like, I don't know if, I want to do food for it. I kind of maybe want it to be more social hour vibe, not really do much around food. And also I was just logistically thinking around just having food on the menu, and then just executing that. Of course, too, because you work in the industry. It gets quite a bit when you start adding things. Beverages are easy, and then when you start adding the food part, you want to coordinate pairings. It's a little more challenging. But after that night, I kind of thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, you know what, it would really be dope to have some food. And Steve's been talking about doing these pop-ups. I'm low-key, high-key trying to be just like Steve and just do pop-ups. It would be amazing.
Well, pop-ups are all the rage, right?
They really
I've seen all kinds of lots of brunch pop-ups, wine pop-ups. I mean, I've seen them not just here, but across the country. People are doing them. They're gathering friends outside and having a chef come in and cook, and a sommelier pair wine. So this is not out of the realm of what's happening. This is very much in tune to what is going on across the country.
Especially since real estate, right, is so expensive for anybody who doesn't have the capital to buy a place or a space. And just like how real estate is moving and things like that, like there are so many, apartment complexes going up. Not many people are able to still get into space. A lot of restaurants are losing their spaces. And then there are some spaces that are even getting more creative, as in hosting pop-ups for other up-and-coming chefs. It's really cool to see. And maybe, like this is in the secret location in New Haven and outside, because we're trying to, do something outside that's fun while it's still warm. Because we don't know how much longer it's going to be. We're going to have such nice weather. But randomly was thinking about maybe we should do a tasting and dinner together. That would be really cool. And just the idea of Nappe Roots reminded me of Nappy Roots, which is a hip hop group whose 2002 album's name of their album is Watermelon Chicken and Grits.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And so wait, Steve, explain the how you came up with Nappe Roots, actually. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, unmute yourself.
It was just when I was at Concat, I actually did go to Concat for a little bit. I found out what the term nappe means. It's basically when like your sauce is made perfectly. The test is, can you dip a spoon in it, run your finger on it, and have the sauce, stay nice and thick and coat the spoon. I'm just like, oh, like that looked like nappy. Like being like, me being a jokester. And I'm like, wait, hold on, like might be something to that, And I think like how it exists in my head is, looking backwards and paying homage to the techniques, the type of food, the styles of cooking that came with us, from Africa, but also, combining that with the experience, what we've learned, how we've adapted it, and like how we've made the best of what's been given to us.
Have you seen High on the Hog yet?
I have, and that was my next point. And there's a point where Omar Tate, who's one of the chefs I've been kind of like looking up to recently, he says that all Black food isn't soul food. Like there's so much more than just soul food. And so just like looking to explore what that means and how that look is something I'm looking forward to very, very much.
So the event is August 18th from 6 to 9. How do people find y'all? Like if people want to go, they're listening to this morning, where should they go to get their ticket?
Well, you can follow me on social media at Nappe Roots, NAPPE Roots. Okay. And there's a link to buy a ticket in my bio. And Raven.
Let me pull up the exact what you call it, URL too. And I want to say it exactly. And so I have my own Instagram, which folks can follow at Petite Sommelier, PetiteSommelier, not Somalia. And that's where you can follow me. And it's also on the page when you go to RSVP. That's in the links in both of our bios. And the actual literal link is Watermelon Chicken Grits. And grits is spelled with a Z, not an S. watermelonchickengrits.splashthat.com. And it will take you right to the RSV page. And also that being said, let me get back in here. So that being said, the RSVP is not a ticket. It's just to reserve your spot. And then we send out ticket information for people to pay. And so when you actually purchase the ticket is when you that's your confirmation that you have a spot for the event. And and it's going to be great. And the location will be shared the day before.
And so how many people can you host? Because I know we're gathering in small numbers. We're not gathering in large numbers. So I would imagine it's small and intimate is what you're shooting for. But I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, we're doing small and intimate. The space that we'll be having it in is pretty outdoors. It's pretty it's a good spot for us to be able to have tables out there, but have people even at the tables like nicely spaced out. And then and then everything will be like well, you can speak to this more so because you're doing the food, Steve, but I'd imagine like individual likely served as well too. So we're still kind of like just thinking through that, but definitely taking all the precautions as necessary for tastings. Everybody's going to have their own individual glasses. Then I'm going to be coming around to pour for them with each transition.
Okay. So what can I expect from this menu, Steve?
Well, there will be watermelon, chicken, and grits. I've challenged myself to use all 3 of those ingredients, but just maybe in ways people might not expect them. For example, I'm trying to figure out, how can I use watermelon in a savory way? Usually watermelon is like a nice, cool dessert, but we want to switch things up. Want to get people out their comfort zones, get them thinking.
You could grill it with a little balsamic glaze.
Yeah. I got some
old school culinary head back in the day. I got a little trick. I know some tricks. I got some skills, not tricks. I got skills.
All right.
Savory up some watermelon, but
don't sweat the technique. That's what they told us.
And that's another thing too, is like I think we were talking about before, Steve, is that like just because it's watermelon, chicken, and grits in the title, people think they shouldn't pay. Oh, I am so sorry for the noise, y'all. Somebody's moving their car. But I'm gonna speak a little louder. People think they see those ingredients and they're like, why should I pay $99? And you should pay because one, if you know Steve and if you know me and if we're doing an event together, it's going to be fire, whatever it's going to be. We're not nothing is literally just going to be placed on the plate in its usual form.
That's not my style.
Whatsoever, but also it's an experience even more than that too. So it's like, it's a culinary experience, it's a culinary arts, incorporating art in there. Going to have a dope playlist inspired by the 2002 Nephew Roots album, Watermelon, Chicken, and Grits. So it's going to be a whole vibe. Really cool.
So what are you going to do for the vegans that show up? Will there be any can vegans come to this or?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. And that's one of the funny things. I've been actually trying to find hen of the woods or chicken of the woods mushrooms. So like people who don't eat meat or are vegan will also have the chance to enjoy chicken fried mushroom. So,
okay.
We looking out for everybody.
I'm listening because I'm a dairy-free person. I'm vegan to this. I'm back to being vegan at the moment.
Okay.
So that's why I'm asking. But I have a dairy allergy, and I'm always like I have to have things that don't have dairy in them, milk, butter, cheese, that kind of thing.
Sure.
So I don't know about these grits. I don't really like grits, but I know grits for a lot of people is like coming home. So I'm interested in seeing what you do with these things.
I'm looking. I hope I impress everybody. I feel like I will. It's just something I kind of Raven and I is kind of like flagship event. We've been wanting to do this for a while. This is really what I want Nappe Roots to be, something that makes you satisfies you, gives you a good meal, but also kind of makes you think, makes you like before you dip into your plate, you're like, dang, like I don't even want to eat.
The way this looks. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait to talk through like as people like are enjoying the meal, but like talking about the ingredients and touching upon some things that were brought up in High on the Hog too. I'm sure people who come through will have will have seen that. If anybody hasn't, who's watching this and who is thinking about coming through, definitely watch that beautiful documentary, which could literally be a whole series with seasons on it. If we really think about the just like the vastness of the African diaspora in foodways, is like so expansive. It's not enough. It's not enough. They did touch upon like quite a few things, but it's also not enough.
That's why we here.
That's why we here. And so we're gonna have vegan options, but also on that note, for people who don't imbibe with alcoholic beverages.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Like, will you have some mock
yeah,
or drinks
definitely.
that are non-alcoholic? I drink, so no worries on that front. But
yeah, I'm definitely gonna have some mocktail options for people and teas too. So like, because it's in the evening, so like after dinner, have something kind of like digestives for people afterwards would be cool. And because I took an herbalism course last year, so I'm definitely gonna
so you're gonna brew up and concoct some things?
Yes, it's gonna be like I'm like a little mixologist, like an herbalist mixologist thing going on. It's gonna be fun.
Oh, I like it. So you're in charge of drinks and pairing wines. So will each course get its own wine pairing?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
It will get its own wine pairing, and if for
I want to see what goes with grits,
a non-alcoholic pairing as well. So either of those things, obviously water. We've got to stay hydrated. We're gonna be outside. It's gonna be summertime. Heat wave. I heard it's coming.
Oh no.
Late August heat wave.
No liabilities over here. You know what I'm saying? Not at the first event.
Yeah. That's all right. We don't. You know what? We don't. People don't mind the heat too much.
Yeah, not us especially. We're good.
Yeah, we don't mind the heat too much.
Yeah.
So if this is successful, which I think it will be, so will you do this again? And how often do you want to do it? And
as much as we can, if the ideas are flowing, if people are down for it, then I want to make as much food as possible.
Yeah, same here. I would love to ideally do monthly events at least. And that goes to say, like, even we're gonna have this outdoors, but like even through the winter, at least that's what I have in mind for doing more with Petite Sommelier, which is something that, like, you got your idea for nappe roots at Concat. I was working my first fun story is, like, I was working my first job at a wine shop straight out of college after graduating from Syracuse with a hospitality management degree, and went straight into the wine industry because I met a Jamaican and Trinidadian sommelier, Black woman and from New York, and who was just amazing and extraordinary. And so that motivated me to be in wine. So my first wine job was at Bottle Rocket in Westport when it was there. They still have their New York flagship store, but the Westport has since closed. But I was a part of the team opening that store. And so I would go from New Haven to Westport for work, and actually started a blog that was Petite Sommelier. It was on WordPress, it was really cute. I was in my early 20s also. So I was trying to do something. I wasn't really like confident then early on, and just starting out in the industry. But now with years of experience and being at different places, a wine magazine, a winery, multiple different wine shops, and then in the restaurants, definitely, more experience under my belt, and definitely feel ready to do something more interesting for myself with the brands and with Petite Sommelier. Some really fun stuff that to keep me interested and to keep me learning, to keep me on my toes, but also to provide experiences for other people who get intimidated navigating the wine industry and don't think that and think that wine is something that's pretentious when it's not.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good point, because although I will say over these last several years, people have really been a little bit more adventuresome with trying all kinds of wines, right? And not feeling so nervous about going in a wine shop and not knowing what to pick. So I do see more people sort of being adventuresome into wine shops, at least. Yeah, and just trying new wines and different wines. And there's wines at all kinds of price points. Like, you don't have to buy a $20 bottle of wine to enjoy a good bottle of wine. There's good wine at a lot of price points, under $10, $10 and under. So yeah, I think when you come along, Raven, and help demystify the wine tasting, wine buying, wine drinking process for people, I think that's a good way for people to enjoy wines who ordinarily stick to letting somebody else pick the wine for them, because
honestly, it's my favorite part of my job, particularly like when I'm working retail. My favorite time in the industry was working at a winery in the cellar. But when I am like selling wine to people, I enjoy making it I enjoy the challenge of making it personable, and just connecting with people and finding things that and getting people to try things that they wouldn't, and finding things that they like that will bring them back to try something new.
Yeah, and getting people to think about what do they like in terms of taste, and and I'm fascinated by the pairings of food, wine and food pairings. There seems to be no real rules to that. Like, people are starting to drink white wines, and not just with fish, but having white wines with a steak. You know what I mean? Like, used to be, you'd have a steak, you'd automatically have some kind of red wine, right? But people are enjoying a good Sancerre with a filet mignon, right? At least I am, or steak frites in a Sancerre.
I've had some amazing, because one of the most food friendly wine varieties to me is Riesling. I've had some, and you could literally pair. There's so many different kinds of styles of Riesling. You can pair it with almost anything. And I've had some really good Riesling with steak, and even in champagne.
Oh, that's my drink.
Champagne with steak? What? Depending on what it is.
Champagne is my favorite thing. I love champagne. So yeah, it's been a good summer for champagne and other sparkling wine. So Steve, you got your work cut out for you, creating a menu that'll satisfy all these palates.
I do. One of the things I'm looking forward to, it's like people are expecting a lot, so you kind of have to rise to the occasion, I guess. And it's like, it's a good challenge. I'm looking forward to a good challenge.
Yes. And then I would suspect, Raven, once people have these wine pairings with the food that Steve is preparing, that they'll want to know more about those particular wines and maybe go buy them for themselves.
Yep.
Is that your hope?
Yeah, definitely. My hope is to, get some sponsorships from some of our lovely local small business wine shops. And even if not for this event, but like to build up to that, so that is like a regular thing to get sponsorships. Because if I get wines from a certain shop and customers love it, they are going to want to know where to get it. And not trying to, even Amazon sells wine. So, trying to support, like, the competition is real out here in these streets. Okay, wherever the money is, they got it. And Amazon trying to get everybody's money. So, but in support of small business owners and small wine shops, I don't like going to liquor stores personally, and seeing the same thing everywhere you go in the country. Like, something special about walking into a store that, they're a curated selection with things that you can not find anywhere else, or rarely find anywhere else. And so just want to support small shop owners too, and get some sponsorships. And in the meantime, we just make do. But there will definitely be information for people to where they can pick it up at their local shops as well.
Mm-hmm. So watermelon chicken and grits with a Z, which I kind of dig that on a lot of levels.
We got some style, you know what I'm saying?
Elm City Local Arts meets Culture Culinary, August 18th from 6 to 9 p.m. We got Steve Roberts and Raven Blake pulling together this pop-up in an undisclosed location. So you have to get your ticket. You have to go online, buy your ticket, and then they'll tell you where to show up. I love the element of mystery to that. That's kind of fun. That sort of gives
that was listen, and that's from like So Far Sounds when we used to do little pop-up shows all around New Haven, and you had to get your ticket before you knew the location.
yes.
So we're bringing that element back. That was fun. That was fun.
Yeah, people have an experience of that. Like they know something about that kind of mystery, right? From the So Far. So, yeah. All right, so y'all are doing this August 18th from 6 to 9. People can find both of you on social media, Instagram, all the social media sites. And I saw the posting, Raven, already on Instagram. And
I will send it over to you too, and because that's like a GIF. I have a GIF, so it's like but I think to email it to you, I can just send like a flyer that's not all
that
flashy.
Would be good.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, send me a flyer, and and I can send that around.
And I'm trying to get to South Africa for the spring harvest that they have. So
I don't know. Do tell. What is this about?
So because we're in the northern hemisphere, so harvest is actually upon us. It's coming. So this is the time of the year that we're going into, in like late summer and the fall, where and like North America, Europe, like all countries that are producing wines in the northern hemisphere of the globe are going to be harvesting their grapes in order to make their wine. And it's a fun time of year. I'm going to be hopping over to Long Island, where I used to work, to stomp on some grapes when they come in, contribute some hours, maybe in exchange for some bottles. And so for the Southern Hemisphere, so that's like New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, their harvest is the opposite time of year. So it's in the spring. What is our spring? And so that's when they harvest. I would love to go to South Africa for the first time, mind you. My middle name is South African, and I have not been yet. So I'm trying to find my way to South Africa to work a harvest. I think that would be really dope.
Wow.
And I'm starting wine classes again this fall. I have my wine certification through Wine and Spirits Education Trust. And I have my 3rd level advanced in wine and spirits, and I'm trying to go back for my diploma. So that's the WSET level 4. And starting taking classes again this October, and they are costly. The higher you get, the higher the level, the more costly these classes get. And there are 6 modules that are separate classes. And so this is...
I know this track very well, because I wanted to do it, and it was a little bit it was cost prohibitive at the moment.
Right. So I'm about to make that GoFundMe link live again, which people will be able to find also on my Petit Sommelier profile if y'all want to support. Throw some coins my way.
I tell you what, you get all the education, and then you come back and you open your own little sommelier school, and then I'll come and learn under you, because...
Definitely. I would love to do classes. I have a website that I'm working on to eventually, maybe later this year or next year, to have some online classes available. But even I've been thinking about doing Zoom. I mean, like, the idea of doing Zoom tastings is not attractive, but people have been doing them.
Yeah.
People have been doing them too.
Get that bread.
Yeah.
You would do the Zoom class? All right. So hey,
yeah. Do you teach Zoom
in February?
Do you teach too on Zoom, Steve?
Yeah.
Culinary class?
Yeah. I told you I'm a mercenary, Miss Babz. Because money on the wood make the game go good. Or something like that. Whatever they used to say.
I love that. So, well, I so appreciate you all coming on this morning. and talking about watermelon chicken and grits. Elm City local artists meet culture culinary. August 18th from 6 to 9. Y'all know how to find these two badass social media people and community culture holders. You know how to find them. Get your ticket so that you can support these young people doing this wonderful cultural thing. And you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it because the next day, the day after, everybody's going to be talking about it. You know, so saying. So thank you, Steve Roberts. Thank you, Raven. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you as always, Babz.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Harry. Oh, yo, welcome. Come back. I want to hear more about this after the fact. Come back and tell me what you learned, what you thought about it, what's next. I'm sure this collaboration ain't going to be just one and done. I'm sure this is going to be we just keep this going. And now's a good time for this, right? Now's a good time.
People are people still want to be social, but you know,
in a safe way and small pockets. Yeah. I think we're going to be that way for a good while now. So this will be good. People have something to look forward to for the summer. So thank y'all.
Hi, this is Babz Rawls-Ivy from New Haven, Connecticut, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, streaming live at newhavenindependent.org.